Hello, I hope that you are doing great. Today in chapter 6 what we are going to do is basically to analyze how we can restructure the software architecture of our application, because later on we are going to add more structure to our application and we want to have an application that is efficient and is very easy to add databases and forms and more routes. And to do that we are going to use a tool implemented in Flask that is called Blueprints. Okay, let's move on. The first thing that you have to do is to download the boilerplate number 1. I have already done this, and basically this is the boilerplate that I have. The first thing that I would like to show you is what is the software architecture that we have right now in our application. And to do that is very easy. It's just type tree F, and basically here you have the kind of the structure that we have right now in our application. We have the application.py and we have a static folder in which we have the CSS files and the icons, and we have another folder that is the templates. Okay, and we are going basically to work during today to change totally the architecture of this. At the end of this video I would like to show you what is the final architecture that we have. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do is to create as usual a virtual environment. Basically what we have to do is Python -n virtual environment. Now we activate the virtual environment. It's virtual environment scripts activate, and now we have to install pip install Flask. And now I want to clear this, and I want to minimize this a little, or I leave it here, the clear. And then now we have to install another package that is pip install blueprint, because this is the package that we are going to use. Then before always we use Flask, but now we need to add these two packages. If now we type pip freeze requirements txt, oops, sorry, I make a mistake here, speak txt, and now we open this. Now you can see on top of this that basically now we have Blueprint is installed. Right? Before we only have Flask, but now we also have Blueprint. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to minimize the virtual environment. Okay, then let's start to work with the changing the architecture. The first thing that we are going to do is to create a folder. In here is we are going to create a new folder that is called capp by Carbon application. Okay, and inside that folder I'm going to erase this because I don't want delete, remove to bin. And basically what we are going to do is to move the static and the template folders. We are going to move it into the capp. We move these two things, and now basically we have these two folders are inside this capp. And here basically what we are going to do now is to create 3 folders, one for each kind of group of routes that we are going to create. And the first one is going to be named home. We are going to, in that kind of folder, we are going to place all the routes that are related to home. And inside that folder what we are going to create as a new file that is going to be, the name is going to be init.py, and inside that folder we are going to type this symbol and we save it. This is the unique thing that we are going to create here. Basically when we have an init.py file with this symbol, is that basically this folder for Python is operated like a package. This is very nice because we are going to organize all the structure of our application is going to be in packages, and this is super efficient way of programming. And now inside this home folder we are going to create a new file that is going to be named roots.py, okay? And inside here basically what we are going to do is we are going to create our roots and our blueprints, and then from Flask import render template. This is something that we are familiar, and now we have to also to import another module that is blueprint. And here basically in the next line what we do is define the blueprint, home blueprint, and we type here the name that we want for this blueprint, that is going to be home and name. Okay, this is basically the first step, and what we are going to do now, I go to ask you to go to the application. Basically we are going to move all the roots from here to a separate folder, and basically we cut all the thing that we have here, Control X, and we go to the root inside the home folder and we paste it here. Now basically what we have to do is to change two things. Instead of application, now the root is going to start by home, that is the name of the blueprint that we have created, and here as well we have to introduce home, and we have to change also the name of the function because otherwise it's going to give us a problem, because it's kind of a logic problem. We cannot have the same name for the blueprints that we have for the functions. Okay, this is the unique thing that we have to do, and we save this, and we have finished with this first package, the home. What we need to do is to do the same thing for the methodology and for the Carbon app, and then I go again here and I create a new folder that is going to be methodology, and inside the methodology basically what we have to do is create a new file that is going to be init.py, and inside here we create this, we save it, and now we are going to create a new file that is going to be roads.py, okay? And inside here we do exactly the same, from Flask import render template and blueprint, and now we are going to define the blueprint that is going to be methodology blueprint. We type here the name that is going to be methodology, and we type here name, okay? And now basically what we do is exactly the same that we have done before. We go to the application, we cut the root that before was there in methodology, and then we go here and we paste it, and we have to change the name by, instead of application is going to be methodology, and instead of methodology we have to introduce methodology home, because otherwise we are going to have a logical mistake here, okay? Okay, now basically what we have to do is exactly the same thing, but with the Carbon app. The last package that we are going to create is new folder, it's going to be Carbon app, and inside the Carbon app what we have to do again is create a new file that is going to be init.py. Here we type this, we save it, we can close this, and here we are going to create a new file that is going to be roads.py, and here basically we have to do exactly the same, from Flask import render template and blueprint. We define the blueprint that is going to be Carbon app equal blueprint the name of the blueprint, that is going to be carbon app, and here basically we have to type name. And as we have done in the previous cases, we have to go to the application.py and cut all the roots that we have there. Control X. We go to this root and we paste it here. And instead of application, we have to type here carbon app. And to avoid logical mistakes, we have to rename this function and to type it carbon home. And we save it. Okay? Okay, this is the first thing that we have to do here. Then the next thing that we have to do inside the carbon app folder, we are going to create a new file that is going to be init.py. And here basically what we have to do is to define, basically we go again to from application, and basically we cut these two things here. And basically what we have to do here is basically to define the application. Here we are not going to use render template. It's basically what we are doing is basically all the information that we have in the application.py file. We are splitting that information to make our app more efficient, to make the architecture of our code more efficient. And basically here what we have done is to define import Flask, and we define the application. And now basically what we have to do is to register the blueprints. That is very simple. Is from this folder capp app, I am telling the computer to go to the folder home and go to the particular to roots, to the file roots, and import home. Have to do the same for this other two packages that we have created. Then is from capp, go to the package that is methodology, go to the file that is roots, and import methodology. And we have to do exactly the same for the last one from capp. We have to go to carbon app, to that folder, to that file roots, and import carbon app. Okay. And the last thing that we have to do is to register this in Flask. And basically it's application, then register blueprint, and we have to register home, then application, register blueprint methodology, and the last blueprint that we have to register is application, register blueprint carbon app. Okay, that's all. The last thing that we have to do is now, if we go to application, basically what we have to do is from the folder capp, we have the import application, and that's all. We save this, and that's all. Now we go to the terminal, new terminal, and we type Python application.py. Yeah, and this all works perfectly. We click here. We don't have anything spectacular because this is a very simple application, but this is what we need. It's layout home. If I type here methodology, we have methodology, we have the access. This is basically the structure that we want. I would like to end up this video. In the next video, what we are going to do is to change these templates for the templates that we have created. But before to do that, I want to Control C to stop this. I'm going to erase the virtual environment from here. I'm going to delete this, remove. I'm going to erase, delete permanently. I'm going to erase some noise information that I have here because I would like to show you the architecture that we have. Okay, we go to carbon. I'm going to erase all this that is noise basically. Home, I'm going to erase this, delete. this. Okay, now I want to clear the terminal. I would like to make this terminal a little larger, and now if we type 3f, this is basically the architecture that we have, and this is super efficient way of programming, because basically now what we have outside is the application.py, from which we are going to basically to call our application. Then inside this we have inside this folder we have an init.py file in which we are creating our application, and then we have a package for each single group of routes. For example, for Carbon app, for home, for methodology, we are going to create more routes and more folders later on. We have a static folder for the CSS files, and we have a templates. And this is super efficient way of programming. Basically, what we have done in this video is basically we have moved from a very kind of also very nice way of programming and very nice architecture, but it's kind of very nice for a small project. But now we are going to start to add more structure to our project, and then we need to develop a very efficient way of programming, and this is basically what we have done in this video by using Flask blueprints. In the next video, what we are going to do is to connect our HTML files with the routes that we have created in blueprints. Okay, see you in the next video.